Will African countries ever be free from the resource curse? The newly elected African leaders think so, and that is why they have been making significant efforts to take control of their resources. Since their arrival on the scene, the Sahel leaders have made several moves to wrest control of their resources from foreigners. But it's not just them. The newly elected president of Ghana has also decided to take control and nationalize Ghana's gold resources. In a move that has shocked everyone, the government of Ghana has banned foreigners from buying and selling gold mined by local artisan miners.
Now, as part of efforts to boost national revenue and streamline the country's mining sector, Ghana has banned all foreigners from trading in its local gold market.
This is a revolutionary move that reflects a similar trend in the Sahel. But why did the president of Ghana decide to make this move? And what is the reaction of the people? On April 2nd, the president of Ghana, John Mahama, signed a new law that was passed last month in the parliament. The law granted exclusive authority of gold mining in the country to a new state body called the Ghana Gold Board. Following this law, the government notified that all foreigners, including Western and Chinese investors, are banned from buying and selling gold in Ghana's gold market. This was announced by the spokesperson of Ghana's Gold Board, Prince Kwame Minka, in a statement. Under the law, Goldbod is now the sole buyer, seller, and exporter of all gold produced by the artisanal and small-scale mining sector. However, foreigners are allowed to apply to buy or offtake gold directly from the Gold Board, but can no longer operate within the local gold value chain. This simply means that while these foreign companies would remain in the country, their activities would now be regulated by the government. Before now, local and foreign companies with export licenses could buy and export gold from small-scale Ghanaian miners. But with the new law, they would not be able to do so any longer. Beginning from May 1st, 2025, all local and foreign companies can only buy and sell gold from the newly created state body, Gold Board. The new law also requires that all gold bought from May 1st must be bought with licenses from the new Ghana Gold Board. This simply means that the licenses previously issued by the Precious Minerals Marketing Co., which used to market minerals produced in the country, will no longer be valid. Additionally, anyone caught trading gold in the country without the new license would be charged criminally. Before the new licenses are issued, gold transactions would only be carried out in Ghana cedis, the local currency, and priced based on the Bank of Ghana rates. To kick off, the government has allocated $279 million to the newly created Ghana Gold Board so that it can purchase and export at least 3 tons of gold per week. According to Kwame Minka, this law would help to the needed reserves to enhance Ghana's forex and by extension deal with gold smuggling. It will also ensure that Ghana harnesses the entire gold value chain, from extraction to refining, value addition, and marketing both locally and internationally. Specifically, Ghana's Gold Board was created to boost the gold sector and boost national revenue. However, it can also help to deal with the issue of illegal mining, which the country has suffered from for years. Before we proceed, here is a reminder to like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe to our channel if you have not done so already. You see, it is not news that Ghana is the largest producer of gold in Africa and the 6th producer of gold in the world. The country is blessed with so much gold to the extent that there is an old saying which says, "There is no land in Ghana which doesn't have gold, even in the topsoil. Ghana is gold." The abundance of gold is the reason why Ghana was called the Gold Coast during the colonial period. As a result, gold mining has become one of the major occupations in Ghana. Local individuals as well as local companies have taken this occupation seriously. However, most of the mining is being carried out illegally. Young unemployed Ghanaian men with their picks and shovels and sometimes their bare hands would dig the ground for gold. Once seen, they relied on panning, which means the washing of sediment through a sieve, so the gold would settle at the bottom. However, like every other mining sector in African countries, Ghana's gold mining sector is dominated by the West. The 1980s and 1990s economic reforms under the Structural Adjustment Program initiated a liberalization of the mining sector. This period brought in an influx of foreign direct investment, particularly from companies in Canada, Australia, and South Africa. In 2006, key legislative reforms, such as the Minerals and Mining Act of 2006, also opened the doors of Ghana's gold mining to foreign investors. This period saw large-scale mining projects, such as Anglo Gold Ashanti's Obuasi mine and Newmont Gold Corp's Ahafo mine, began producing gold. Chinese investors also came into the picture, revolutionizing the sector and making it a more sophisticated industry. However, the presence of foreign actors as well as the actions of local artisanal miners has caused a huge environmental and economic challenge in Ghana. Rising gold prices as well as rampant youth unemployment has caused a widespread challenge of illegal gold mining in gold. This epidemic, known as galamsey locally, has caused severe challenges in Ghana, both economically and environmentally. Thousands of sites across the country have been set up to mine gold. Some of these sites, however include vast forested regions famous for their cocoa farms, as well as their vast gold deposits. Fueled by the gold rush, local businessmen, politicians, and artisanal miners have collaborated with foreigners, specifically Chinese investors, to exploit these rich agricultural lands for gold. They would buy out massive cocoa farms and turn them into illegal mining sites. The worst part is that there have also been reports of them using intimidation tactics to convince cocoa farmers who refuse to sell to them. According to current estimates, about 4,726 hectares of land, which is more than the size of European cities like Athens and Brussels, have been destroyed in 7 of the country's 16 regions and 34 of its 288 forest reserves. It is no wonder that despite the fact that Ghana is the second largest cocoa producer, it has seen little of the profits from chocolate. According to the Ghana Cocoa Board, more than 19,000 hectares of farmland had been destroyed in key cocoa-growing areas like the Western and Ashanti regions in 2021 alone. In October 2024, the board's chief executive officer, Joseph Boahen Aidu, said the production of cocoa, the key ingredient of chocolate, had fallen. Beyond cocoa, illegal mining has also affected other crops, with a rice farmer in the Ahafo region saying that she could no longer use her nearby river for irrigation purposes. "I have to set up a whole plant that involves digging deep to find water, which is very expensive," she said. Experts like agricultural development consultant Dr. John Manful have confirmed that precious, valuable land in the forest belt had been destroyed by the gold seekers. According to him, illegal small-scale mining has been taking place for decades in Ghana, but in recent times, it has not only been getting out of hand but also had catastrophic effects. Mining of gold has led to felling of trees, which in turn leads to deforestation. Excavators are then used to dig out the topsoil and subsoil, further degrading the land. After excavation, the soil is deposited at gold washing plants stationed in rivers, and water is pumped to wash the soil and crush stones. During the washing process, various chemicals, including mercury and cyanide, are used to help extract the gold from the soil. But this does not only pollute the land, it also pollutes big and small rivers close by. Last year, a Ghanaian artist, Israel Derek Apeti, better known as Enil Art, visited the Pra River with his friend Jay Sterling. The river is 125 miles west of the capital, Accra. What they discovered reflected the environmental catastrophe unfolding because of galamsey. According to Israel, the river was so thick and discolored with gold that he could use it to paint. This is how bad it has gotten. Those living in communities along the river noted that the water was once so clean that you could see the fish and crocodiles that lived in it, but it had been transformed into a yellowish-brown body of water. Dr. George Manful, a former senior official in Ghana's Environmental Protection Agency, stated that mercury, the element used in washing mined gold, can remain in water for up to 1,000 years. Imagine that. The water in these rivers is so turbid that it is undrinkable, he said. In another interview, he pointed out that mercury could affect the entire food chain as it accumulates in fish and can enter crops irrigated with the water. "We are slowly poisoning ourselves," Dr. Manful added. A water organization in Ghana, WaterAid, has urged the government to take immediate action to end the ecocide, while the state water utility warned that Ghana risked becoming an importer of water by 2030 if the illegal mining was not curbed. The severe consequences is why Ghanaians took to the streets last year during the presidency of Akufo-Addo. They demanded that the government take action to end illegal mining. Instead of listening to the people, the government ordered the police to detain dozens of protesters and accuse them of holding an illegal gathering. The only thing the Akufo administration attempted to do was launch the military to take action against illegal mining. In September 2024, the government said that 76 people, including 18 foreign nationals, had been convicted of illegal mining since August 2021, and more than 850 others were being prosecuted. However, those affected have noted that these arrests have done nothing to curb illegal mining. One farmer, who asked not to be identified, said she feared that the crisis would continue if the powerful individuals behind the illegal mining were not arrested and prosecuted. When I see arrests by the military in poor communities, it's just a symbolic gesture of appearing to maintain law and order. The people making big money out of it are in offices, not on the field, she said. As earlier stated, the gold rush has been fueled by the rising price of gold in the global market. This has boosted Ghana's illegal syndicate. After mining the gold is smuggled out possibly to countries like the United Arab Emirates, China, and India, to be refined, mixed with legal gold, and sold on international markets. Beyond the price of gold in the market, the illegal industry has also boomed because Ghana has been facing its most severe economic crisis in a generation, with unemployment worsening and the cost of living escalating. As a result, many poor or jobless people, especially in rural areas, have either been employed by the illegal syndicates or have simply taken up gold mining on their own, earning up to $125 a week. When President Akufo-Addo first took office in 2017, he acknowledged that some security personnel, businessmen, and politicians were involved in Galamsey. The former president also vowed to not just to stop it, reclaim the land, to let our rivers work again, but also to help all the able-bodied young men involved in this activity to find an alternative livelihood. However, he did not only fail to stop it, but the situation got worse during his tenure. It was just as his tenure was about to end and the protests became serious that he ordered the deployment of naval boats to ensure the immediate cessation of all mining activities, legal or illegal, in and around these water bodies. But senior officers in his party noted that they did not expect a major crackdown, as many of their supporters in mining districts were involved in Galamsey, and the party could not risk losing their votes in the December general election. Unfortunately for them, they lost, and a new president, John Dramani, came on the scene. During his campaign, dealing with illegal mining was one of the promises he made to the people. And now, just a few months after his inauguration, the president has begun to fulfill his promise. By banning trading activities and ensuring that it is controlled by the state, the government can deal indirectly with illegal gold mining. This is because under the new law, illegal miners will not be able to sell their gold unless through the state board. And if they attempt to sell it through the board, they will be caught as they do not have the necessary license to sell the gold. So, the ban is seen as the first concrete step by the new administration of President Mahama to tighten regulation and control of the gold sector and deliver on its anti-Galamsey campaign promises. According to Nana Asante Krobea, a mining governance consultant, the ban sends a strong message to foreign actors, especially Chinese operatives, who have circumvented local laws for years. He also noted that if properly applied, the new law could bolster government revenue and bring some order to the chaos in the gold sector. With the new model, Ghana is moving away from a model where local and foreign companies that have export licenses could buy and export gold produced by artisanal and small-scale mining. Indeed, the new president of Ghana has proven that he is of a different breed. Like President Traoré of Burkina Faso, the Ghanaian president is one that listens to the voice of the people and fulfills his pledges to them. It's no wonder then that he and President Traoré flows remarkably well and have advocated for an Africa without borders. Think about it. Instead of trading away African resources for a few pennies to the West, African countries would trade with each other, leading to industrialization and creating jobs. African economies would grow stronger and African local currency would grow stronger. With a borderless Africa, people and goods would move freely just like it does in Europe. A businessman in Nigeria can easily sell his goods in any African country. A Kenyan student can easily study in an Egyptian university. A South African man can easily settle in Ethiopia as a resident. Landlocked countries like Burkina Faso and Mali would easily have access to the sea, boosting trade and reducing costs. This is the vision of Africa unveiled by President Mahamudu Dramani. He is advocating for tearing down these colonial barriers that have divided the continent for decades. The Ghana president made this clear during major events like Africa Prosperity Dialogue and the African Union Summit in Addis Ababa. According to him, Africa needs to stop seeing itself as a collecting of separate countries and start functioning as one powerful interconnected economy like the European Union. It would interest you to know that if African countries can fully embrace a single market, it can unlock a staggering $3.4 trillion in economic potential. This number is more than enough to set Africa on a path of industrialization and make the continent a global powerhouse. The fact is that African countries need to start investing in themselves instead of relying on Western foreign investors. You see, since most African countries embrace the IMF and World Bank policies of liberalization, African countries open their doors to foreign investors. However, instead of setting these countries on a path of industrialization and self-reliance, African countries have benefited little or nothing from these investors. Instead, what we have seen is a situation whereby these foreign investors take advantage of Africa's weak institutions and laws to exploit Africa's minerals and resources. In some cases, these investors have caused severe damage to the economy of African countries. Ghana is a good example. The gold mining industry, which has been dominated by foreign investors for decades, has caused tremendous harm to the Ghanaian economy. Not only has it caused the government to lose substantial revenue, it has also caused the spread of illegal mining. But now with the new law, Ghana is now taking control of its resources, which is something that is happening in Burkina Faso and the other Sahel region. Like President Dramani, Traoré has taken charge of the gold mining industry in Burkina Faso, ensuring that the country gains significant benefit for its resources. For too long, African countries have allowed external factors to regulate their mineral industries, which has led to several internal challenges. In Burkina Faso, for example, illegal artisanal mining has allowed Islamist jihadists to take control of mines and use it to fund their notorious activities. But with the new laws put in place by Traoré, these operations have reduced. Hopefully, a similar occurrence would happen in Ghana with the new law. What do you think of Ghana's new law? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe to our channel.